Should I get more wine?
Yeah, absolutely.
What all the listeners should know is that me and Jason are in the same house, but he is in another room.
That's not true. You broke the illusion.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Deep Dark Well. Today we are joined by the lovely Erin Ownbey, who has acted in almost all of our projects. Is a talented actress that's done a bunch of different stuff. You can look up all her accolades on IMDb. She's been in a lot of TV shows that have filmed all over Atlanta here. And you're also a Pilates instructor. You do a lot of very health conscious things. And I think we've been fortunate enough to work, specifically with film. But I know that you've kind of run across different genres, features, shorts, indie, studio level stuff. And yeah, we're just very happy to have you on the show today.
Thanks for having me.
This is one of those things where we want to get to know you a bit more. What pulled you into some of these projects and why you insist on continuing to work with us, if there is a breaking point and when it will be, to just give us the proper heads up. Erin is, you've been my go-to. Gosh, I don't even know, because we met, I'm trying to think. I can't think of the year.
Ago. It had to have been like 2015 or something like that.
Yeah,
maybe even
2015.
Before that. I don't know, 14.
Was it when you did
1973? Yeah,
1 million years ago.
Oakland, and I was like, hey.
So when you all did the settlement pitch, was that the first thing?
That was the first, yeah. So
I think we did, yeah.
48-hour Film Fest in Atlanta is, I think, when I first, I clocked you, but I'd gotten a headshot from you because there was like a casting call thing. Mm-hmm. And they had you guys go out and sort of, Booney's going to just make love to this pill in the background, but we're going to let it happen.
I'll just give her her privacy.
So there was like an open casting call. God bless you. And I think, did you have to come up and do like a monologue, or did you, I don't remember the details.
It was something just absolutely humiliating, I'm sure. I don't even remember.
I remember there was like 20 directors in a room and they had you guys come out like one by one. It was just kind of like this.
So embarrassing.
Here is this. Do a monologue.
A cattle call. Everyone just stares at you and you're just like, oh.
That sounds terrible.
So I remember I came home though with a stack of headshots and I was shooting a proof of concept for a feature film I wrote called Settlement. And I remember going through the headshots and seeing you and I liked your look. And I reached out on Facebook and I was like, hey, we're doing this, little proof of concept video. If you'd be interested in being in it. And that's literally how we met, was like a Facebook Messenger thing. Mm-hmm. And I don't remember, I'm always like, for me personally, that always is like nerve wracking to me, especially just approaching because at that time you were a stranger, and like, especially with like film and things, there's always like, the taboo conversations about money and, are these people crazy, things like that. And I remember like sharing videos to try and be like, here's some stuff we've done. I think we know what we're doing. Okay. But I remember you were very sweet and you were like, yeah, this sounds awesome.
Looking back at the things that I said yes to that I really shouldn't have, I'm very lucky that I was never, I don't know, kidnapped or something, to be honest.
Sure. Yeah.
I would reply to Craigslist ads and meet people at random coffee shops throughout the Southeast, or
it's like different times though, right? Like, cause I don't even go on Craigslist anymore, but that was like such a big part of, finding stuff obviously, but then jobs, that's how I found, I think my first few jobs here in Atlanta was Craigslist.
Let's say not having an agent or, just being new to the industry, you're just kind of finding your way. And, you're just kind of doing anything you can. Cause especially then at that time, there's no direct path. And now, also. So, but
right.
Back then there was Craigslist, there were random model websites and things like that you can look for jobs, going to 48-hour casting calls and stuff like that.
Well, you've definitely, in the time that I've known you, I feel like you've carved your path, fairly tenaciously. I think you're one of those people that you kind of see what you want to do and you go and do it. In a very calm and collective and cool way. And you're hella
I'm
talented.
glad it looks like that.
Right. Yeah. The social media lie.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, let's go back to where it kind of started for you. Obviously, when you grew up, what that first sort of inspiration for you was it a specific, moment, specific movie? Tell me about kind of what got you into this and what made you decide to pursue this.
As far as I can remember, I always wanted to be an actor, and why that might be, it could be some kind of, I don't know, childhood whether trauma response or, you know, something else. I don't know. Like, I enjoyed the idea of being able to be fully myself and feeling feelings that like were often seen as like not okay. But like, if I was acting, like it was an appropriate place to have like big feelings. So there's that. I think I was maybe 3 and I was like, I want to be an actor. And I just
3.
Yeah. Wow. It was always what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Can you remember the film that made you, I mean, at 3?
No, there was no film. It was more of just like the creativity that could be had by just playing. Mm-hmm. I think like, you know, whether wearing like different costumes or just making up plays, like I would do tons of plays with like my cousins where like one of the first plays I directed was my cousins. We did a modern adaptation of Cinderella where I was the director, but also the casting director. And of course. And I cast every one of my cousins, and the role that I cast myself as was the evil stepmother because that was the best role in the whole movie, of course.
But why the evil stepmother and why not Cinderella? Why not go for the goal with your...
Cinderella's a little boring. Yeah. She's just like, oh, my slipper. I can't go to the ball. And the evil stepmother is like,
you got to have
feelings.
A little bit of flavor. Not to jump ahead too much, but I feel like that's something I've come to know about you too. Because like obviously, like we pull you into our silly horror movies nonstop, but you don't seem like you're bound to a certain genre. Like it's especially with what you're telling me with like how you became interested in it. Like there wasn't necessarily a particular film or genre. You just wanted a creative outlet. It sounds like.
Yeah, and a space to play, and like I always loved reading. I still love reading. I love storytelling in general, so just different ways to just experience story, whether by just, you know, reading it or visualizing, seeing like a film, TV show, or even like audio. Like I love like radio theater. That's something I've always been really interested in too. So just storytelling in general has like been a big passion of mine. I was like I moved from San Diego when I was little to Tennessee, where like my family was from originally. And I felt like such an outsider when I moved there. And so like, I kind of just felt like reading and like going into imaginary spaces was like a safe space to just like be and learn and, be bigger than like the life that I was currently in, you know, not saying it was bad, but you know, it's just like, I felt like, you know, it's a small town and
I feel that
an adventurous spirit. So I was like,
from a small town.
Yeah.
I get that.
I'll read about, you know, all these really cool places that seem fun to go explore.
When people ask me why I left, I was like, well, I read books and I realized there was more out there.
Yeah. A lot more.
What's your favorite book?
Ooh, my favorite book. I can't say I have a favorite book anymore because I keep reading. Like, you know, I don't have a favorite book anymore. I used to like be obsessed with East of Eden. But
I read that last year for the first time. That is a perfect book.
It's the perfect book. It really is so beautiful.
They're remaking that a Netflix show, I think.
I know. I'm a little nervous, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm like, why?
Florence Pugh's playing the mom character.
Yeah, I hope it's good. I hope it's good. But the book is so incredible. But my favorite book I've read recently is Demon Copperhead.
I bought that last year as well. It's on my list.
So good. I read it, I think, last year. What about y'all? What are your favorite books?
The Count of Monte Cristo is probably my favorite book.
Oh, that was good.
It was, I don't know if I read it at the right time or not, but it was just enthralling. I just wanted to read a big book and challenge myself, and I just tore through it. It was so good. Outside of that, probably Lonesome Dove is one of the most beautiful books I've ever read. I'm big into Westerns anyway.
Yeah.
But that is just a great, great novel. And then horror-wise, it's probably The Exorcist is the one I go back to the most.
You were more avid readers than I am. I'm definitely more of a... If I would pick up the DVD or the remote.
Sure.
That's okay.
Not that I don't. I mean, I read a lot of scripts. I feel like I definitely read more scripts than anything. I've read a lot of Michael Crichton growing up.
Michael Crichton's great. I mean, honestly, that's what got me like Stephen King behind me and Michael Crichton, John Grisham. That's the stuff that got me into it. And then I had to get an undergrad. My dad did not want me to go to film school right out of high school.
Yeah.
I had to get a practical degree. So I got an English degree.
There you go.
Which you just cannot get a job as an English degree, not an English teaching degree, just an English degree. So I just read a bunch of books.
Your job field was so bad that you went into filmmaking.
Yeah.
Yeah. My dad had a lot of Stephen King in the house. I would, go through that and stuff. So I think anything that was sort of around the house, same with like music and movies.
Yeah.
There was always just those things that were just accessible. As you sort of grew up then, Erin, like obviously like the stage was sort of, calling you at different points, like directing, like, plays with your sisters and things like that. I know we've talked a little bit about like, working in film versus like theater. What part of your life growing up do you feel like you sort of catered? Like, were you aiming for one or the other? Or were you just sort of like being open to whatever opportunities?
It's funny. I always wanted to do film. I was just drawn to film for some reason. But I did get my degree in theater. Where I was from, there wasn't a lot of opportunities. Like we had a theater program in my high school, but it wasn't until high school that I really was able to kind of dig into that space, besides just like doing things on my own. I think I did a community play when I was like maybe in elementary school. We might have had like one that year or something. I love theater. It's so fun, but I always was like, I want to do movies. But I got my degree in theater because that was kind of like the pathway that I saw through. And now it's funny. I'm like wanting to go back to that space and desiring like plays. It's the actor's medium in so many ways. So
I was going to mention, I feel like a lot of the people I talk to that are actors, there's sort of a, for lack of a better word, like a purity to like theater acting where you're sort of in that character for that amount of time, as opposed to, we get our shot, where we may only need you to be this part of that, this much of that character for this much of the film.
Yeah. There's no better feeling than being in a play, truly. Like it's enlivening.
I love theater as well. I took one class with this. I don't think we had a theater major in my undergrad, but it had some minor stuff. So I took directing for stage.
Cool.
And I loved it. I got to do a one act play as a final thing. And it was so fun. I really wanted to do it more, but film just kind of drew me and sucked up all my time. And I'd love to get to do something on stage. I think that'd be such a fun medium to play in.
Yeah, it's so magical. Like there's so much you can do. It's so physical.
I like just limiting yourself. Like we do it. Like we put limitations on ourselves mainly because of budget. We can't afford to do anything.
Put limitations, yes.
or a location that we should probably use.
I feel like you get a taste of it sometimes. Like the few times that we've gotten a taste of it, I think were when we do like oneers where it's like an uninterrupted take for 7-10 minutes, and it's just like figuring out the block. Like there's and I see what you mean though. There's a great feeling like when you've got all the blocking and everybody's hitting their marks, and it's such a good feeling. Yeah. The camera. I mean, it all feels really interesting. So I can definitely like get your point with that.
The rehearsal process is the thing that I love. It's like you're building this thing together. And it's such a collaborative space to be in. Like as an artist, it's like you with the team and like you're all building this thing, and then you do the thing and then it's over. It's really magical. It's like,
cathartic.
Did it even happen? Who knows? Right. But we all were there.
That's how I feel after every movie. It's like, did we do this?
Yeah.
Then you can see it, but then there's post, and then you're like, oh man, I gotta go back.
That brings up an interesting point because as a filmmaker, I feel like I used to always do rehearsals. And then I went through a period where I didn't like doing them because I wanted to sort of, and it did vary on the shoot. Like if the shoot had sort of less complications with the shot design and things where we knew we'd have a bit more time on set to like, get into a take and really explore that take as opposed to just having like the time to do 2 or 3. What is as far as like rehearsing for film and things, like, do you find that you like to do that? Do you find that you kind of like to save some of that more for the shoot? Like, what do you feel like your process on that leans towards?
I don't ever feel like there's like a saving, because I feel like I want like every moment to always be alive and fresh. So I think like I like being able to kind of like do kind of how we've always done is like, discussing, like collaborating, like talking about things, and then kind of, it's always building. Like every moment is new. Like I don't want a moment to ever feel like rehearsed. Like I don't want it to feel rehearsed when I'm doing it. Like there might have been rehearsal behind it, but
too much memorization can steal sort of the spontaneity and that classic in the moment, phrasing. It's interesting too, though,
boring.
I feel the same way as a director going through too many takes. Like, and I know there's different opinions on that, but for me personally, I feel like once we get past 4 or 5, it's like generally speaking, we already have what we need, and it's sort of maybe that's more time to play with something. Like I feel like generally speaking, we'll try to do like the scripted take, for the first take, or once we get that, and then give you guys like To Hell With You. I feel like was a good opportunity for that because the schedule allowed it and was sort of like within that confined one room space. And you guys just were all so good at like, you guys had great chemistry. You all knew your line. Like you're all trained with like improv and stuff. So I feel like that was a really cool opportunity to see you guys like, okay, like we got what we needed. That's in the script. Now anything you want to try.
Totally.
Do you feel like that gives you, as far as like, scripted versus improv, is there some way you lean? Is it kind of just depend on the project, or?
It kind of depends on the project. It's kind of like a little bit of both. I feel like if you're, the script is the guide, and then, if something is inspired, it's inspired, and, to be neither too controlled by one or the other, just letting it be kind of both. And they can, unless there's really like a specific, like, and that happens with blocking, like really be here for this moment. In film, that's really important sometimes, but, I would say both. Is that an answer? I guess.
That's fair. Hey, there's no right
That's fair.
Here.
Yeah. Both.
You could have just been like,
I like it all.
Cheese. I'd have been like, oh, cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Go cheese. Yeah.
Love Go Cheese.
Go cheese is good.
Let's give our plug to Taco Bell so we can eventually get sponsored by them. That's our goal, by the way, Erin.
Oh, okay. Well, we should have been eating tacos and having more fun.
God, we really do have to do tacos. We should probably do that.
Someday I'll get sponsored by Taco Bell. As far as like and Josh, feel free to jump. I know I'm
no, man, just take it. I'm just here for eye candy.
Well, there you go. That's where the viewers come to see. They turn me off and they're like, they get a still of Josh, and it's like, yeah, we've had a lot of these conversations, but it's interesting to talk with you in this sort of platform because you make my job insanely easy.
Well, same, to be honest. I feel the same about y'all.
We've done enough that I feel like, we're on the same page as far as, what is expected, but I feel like it's the typical thing is, doing that homework beforehand, and having those meetings so that when we get on set, it's less about sort of, there's no like prep work anymore at that point. It's just about trying stuff out and kind of seeing what works. And where I'm getting with this is the prep work, just this idea of what you do as an actress to kind of like either prepare for a role, but also just like, how much is too much versus how much is too little? Like, how do you feel about like being over prepared, that kind of thing?
Yeah, I think some scripts like call for more like over preparation, like if the role like requires it, and some call for a little, not lack of preparation, but less rigidity. I guess you could say. Like comedy can be a little looser, but you really like with comedy, I find it needs more specificity because it's beat, beat, beat. It's joke, joke, joke. It's rhythm. It's tempo. And if you're slow in comedy, then you can drag the scene down. If you don't have if you can't keep up the pace. And comedy, you really need to prepare the dialogue. At least I find I really need to prepare the dialogue a little more. Maybe in drama or something like that, it can be a little more fluid. I'll always learn the lines or know the lines as much as I can, depending on what's going on. But, and sometimes there's like openness because things can change like in a second. You never know when the script can change too. Like on a TV show, like they can change everything like that day. So it's about preparation of knowing what story are we telling? What is my role here? Like, not just like in the scene and the dialogue, but like, what is the function of this character and what story are we telling? And then kind of, your scenes, the function of each scene. What are we trying to do in each scene? Like thinking about it more like a writer, to be honest, is helpful.
Bigger picture, like less individualized shots and scenes and more like, I think that's great. Again, as a director, it's exactly what you want to hear.
Yeah, it's helpful. And then, you're crafting your character and all of those things, but those are choices that you're making for your character. And then how does your character fit the bigger picture of the story and all that? So that's like fun homework. It's like you're a detective. One of my acting coaches, he's like, detective brain, Tim Phillips, he's lovely. But thinking about it like that, like asking questions, being curious, I think makes things fun and exciting. And just being curious, preparing in that way is important.
What do you look for in a role when you're offered scripts?
I look for the script.
Of different stuff. Yeah.
I look for the script. I say, send me the script. If someone's like, I have a thought, like I have a role for him, I'm like, okay, send me the script. Mm-hmm. Like, let me read it. Does the script exist, or is this an idea? Like, first I want to know it's a real thing.
Yeah.
And then like I love reading scripts. So then I read the script. Then I ask myself, is this something I want to do? Is this interesting to me? And then who's the team? Like, who's making it? That's important to me too, because sometimes putting a lot of energy into something that you can't necessarily trust to come through, or, like, I don't know. I'm a little pickier than I used to be than Craigslist, but that's great. That's like, just how it goes now.
I mean, I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But as far as that characters, like what did you find because you do a lot of different roles. You do horror, comedy, drama.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting. I feel like things just kind of find you, and like that's kind of interesting to me. Like, I feel like everything's kind of just found me. I'm interested in like dynamic and like real people, unless it's like fun and like, we're being more avant-garde or like charactery, and that's fun too. But I think always keeping it fresh. You guys have done a great job at like always keeping me on my toes. I get to do a lot of different things, which is really fun. But yeah, and I don't even want to say not doing the same thing twice, because like you'll never do the same thing twice. It's a different story. So
yeah,
I mean, I'm pretty open.
What's the role that you haven't been offered yet, but that you really want?
I really want to do a Western. I know you're into Westerns, but I really want to do a Western. I think that would be fun.
Let's do it.
But I think like there's something interesting about like a wild woman, just like playing with what that means. And, that kind of story would be interesting to me. There's a few films that have done it in interesting ways, but.
What's a film that was like, I wish I had that part?
There's this movie that's stuck with me for a long time. It's a movie called Georgia. And it's Jennifer Jason Leigh, and she plays this like woman who like she wants to be a singer, and her sister is like a famous singer, but she's kind of like this tragic, like I think she might be a junkie. I haven't seen it in a minute, but her performance was so incredible. She's like so in the role.
Yeah.
That I would like to really be able to dig into something.
She's
like
a fantastic actress.
She's one of my favorites. She's incredible. So good. She's incredible. So something to really, really sink my teeth into that's like challenging. I want to be challenged.
Let's talk a little bit about like some of the stuff you've done here in Atlanta. Like let's name drop some shows. Like you've been in Ozark, you've been in Atlanta, the show,
Atlanta, the namesake,
Marvel's Echo. Like how do you feel like, and like what we talked about earlier, you've done some indie stuff. You've done like these bigger indie stuff, some of this bigger studio level stuff. Like, is there something for you as an actress that you feel like, I don't know, like maybe you get from the indie stuff, you don't get from the studio stuff, or vice versa, or like what's the target, I guess, for people that may be looking to get into acting as well? Like, I don't know, some things that you've sort of experienced or learned in working in sort of both sides of that spectrum.
It's very different the way you show up to like each of these sets, right? And it just depends on kind of like your specific role, like your literal role, I don't want to even be like name on the call sheet, but like how, like, are you coming in for like a one-day co-star? Are you just there to kind of move the story along? Then, like you show up with a little bit, you're there, but like, it's not about you, you're there to support the story and like the like team and like the leads of the show and all of that. But then say you're like playing in the guest star space, or like even say you have a role where you're there, like you're a recurring character, and then like you're really a part of the story. And so then you're showing up with a lot more ownership and autonomy, and like you're bringing yourself to the table. Like they want that, you know, like, and I think working in the indie space has like given me the voice to enter those spaces with like, with confidence. You know, it's like, oh yeah, I know that I have good ideas and I can bring like my ideas to the table, and like I can play around and not be like worried I said a line wrong. Like it doesn't matter. Like you could just be like, oh, line. And then they tell you, and then you're like, okay, back in the scene. Like, and that's on $1 billion, like, you know, or multi-million-dollar like set or whatever, you know? So
Sure.
If you feel comfortable doing it, like, I think indie work really supports the work that you want to do, like on the bigger budget stuff. And also like, you know, sometimes you're almost locked into, like we were kind of talking about playing different characters and stuff. You can get locked into a typecast, maybe in the more commercial space, but in indie world, you can play a little bit, and that can also, you know, make you more interesting, and like you have more to pull from. So I think every set is different, and navigating it in a way that just don't be a dumbass. Like, just like,
I feel like that advice just, you know, transcends to life in general.
Just do your job.
Just don't be a dick.
Yeah, just have fun. Like it's supposed to be fun. That's why like we are artists and we're not, no offense, like accountants. Like if you're an accountant, thank you. Please do my taxes this year. It's very complicated. But maybe you're an actor too. I don't know. Like that's cool. I mean, that's why we do it, to have fun.
I mean, we talk about that all the time. Like the only reason we even keep doing it is because it's fun. And like,
yeah.
I mean,
as soon as it stops being fun
is the day we stop doing it. Yeah, that's
totally.
That's the quote.
Totally.
But it's interesting to me too, because and I appreciate what you're saying, because again,
hi, Booney.
There's been a special guest.
her head is in my hand. Yeah.
So you've worked with Jason Patrick, Rosario Dawson, Brittany Snow, and Boondog. Who do you prefer working with?
I actually didn't work with Brittany Snow.
Oh, you didn't?
She was on a show that Malin.
Oh, okay. I have not watched the show. My wife did. But
it's fine. Everyone else has. Everyone's wife watched that show.
I got texts from people that were like, I saw your friend Erin.
Okay. You didn't work with Brittany Snow. But if you did work with Brittany Snow.
Okay. I mean, Boone would be my favorite co-star, obviously. She's the best. We spent the most time together. She's a star. You know, working with Booney also prepared me in so many ways. Like truly for like patience on set. She was amazing too. But like it was challenging.
Yeah.
And like I told you, like I just want to be challenged. And she was a challenge in great ways. Like trying not to laugh when she's licking peanut butter off my ear.
There were so many things in. So The Reclaimers is the short that Erin started with my dog Booney. And there were
for those of you who don't know who Booney is.
If you don't know Booney.
You don't know Booney.
Yeah, like there was just very like old school, putting a little peanut butter on Erin's cheek to get Booney to lick her. And like it was funny because I remember the first time we did it, we put a huge gob of like way more than we needed. And of course you could see it in the shot. Like there was no like I remember like we're like in there like I think we can get away with it. And then we'd like roll on it and it's just like peanut butter.
You're like,
and so much of that film, I think, like to credit, my wife Megan, was like her like off screen, like keeping Booney's attention with treats and like goo baby talk and things like that, and like for you to be able to pull off some of the more dramatic scenes with that type of stuff, like I was always because I think that's one thing that I've always loved about your acting style, and obviously it takes a lot of work to get to this point, but you have this ability to turn it off and turn it on like pretty quickly. Regardless of whether or not you think so. I mean, I've noticed it as a filmmaker and on our sets, like where I'm just like, and I have no idea how people are able to do that because it always impresses me.
It's probably some kind of like mental disorder that we have. Or something.
Well,
therapists would probably like,
it works.
Is
like
this healthy?
I mean, we could obviously this opens up into a bigger conversation about like acting styles and method, not method, things like that. But as far as like being able to like channel some of that stuff, is it all about sort of the homework for you and just sort of knowing how to get into that space before set? Is it more about like what you're saying, kind of feeling it in the moment? Like, let's talk about the Reclaimers, for example, like on some of those more dramatic scenes, like, are you pulling from things? Are you just sort of like trying to get into a headspace, like off the cuff? Like where's your head at with stuff like that?
I feel like it depends. I feel like there's, there's so many methods that you could say. I think like one good thing about learning a lot of methods is being able to take a lot of different things from each one.
Sure.
That's kind of like how I
kind of thing.
Yeah. And just honestly, just being open to the moment, like just trusting that, I mean, your body is doing it. You're doing it. And like, I mean, I do work with the body. Like I work with other folks' bodies. I work with my body. I teach people how like to connect to their body and move their body. And I think if you're in your body and you're feeling it, like you're experiencing this in the moment, if I'm running up the stairs and I'm looking for my dog and then I see, like it's happening in your body and then it's alive. And I think sometimes when you get like in the head, you take away like the part in the body that's just alive and like it's there to kind of just give it to you. So I think, it's like empathizing to like the situation and, I mean, all the memories are inside of us that we've had and that we, will. And it's like the way we see the world is like everyone's is different. That's what makes us like interesting artists because everyone has different experiences. But I just think connecting to the body, that was like the most physical thing I've ever done. I've done a lot of like weird physical things too. That's kind of like my weird like niche is like physical acting, but that was challenging for me in a physical way that, I mean, I was exhausted. And then you're just like fighting invisible monsters. And that was it. Like, I didn't say any words. Like, it was all physical. Like,
yeah,
it was
I think
there.
that's where the strength of that film comes from is the fact that you were believable enough to make it seem like you were actually fighting things that we could not afford to show, that kind of like, to me, it's like you carry that film because yes, you are helping me believe that there might actually be something there when, I mean, that could have fallen apart, insanely easily. So the fact that you were able to convey that, I think, and yeah, I think between running up and down stairs and getting lifted off the ground and there were so many physical things.
I was like, oh, ow, that hurt, oh, you see it, it's like,
yeah, you've always been very cool with that stuff. And is there,
it's fun.
I'm curious too, like, and you can use our films as an example because it could be a learning opportunity for us. But what do you sort of look for, yearn for from a director before you do a take?
Before I do a take, I kind of want them to just like, I think trust is important. And I think like, mutual trust, like me trusting them and them trusting me, like both of us trusting each other to do our job. And then like trusting, I mean, whoever, you're the one that hired me and we've like done the prep work together. So like, let's just see what happens. And then, we can kind of be like, okay, how did that feel? Like I like when it feels more collaborative rather than like a hierarchy, it's just more of like, okay, like, how did you feel? How did that look for you? What's going on here? Let's have a conversation and just let it be like chill. It doesn't have to be so serious.
Yeah.
And granted, sometimes they're on a time crunch. Sometimes a director, you might not ever see them. And that's normally a good thing.
Sure.
Like that, or at least that just means that they got the take.
Yeah. And I think I appreciate that a lot because the trust element for me goes a long way. And especially like, again, like that, I mean, we're talking about the same types of things. Like for me, the biggest thing is the bigger picture mentality of like,
totally.
At the end of the day, the only thing that matters is hopefully telling the story.
Well, and you're editing too. So like, when you get the shot, you're like, okay, I got it. And I have to trust you to be like, okay, you got it. Unless I'm like, oh, I had this random idea. I want to try this thing,
Which is great too. Like,
and that's fine. But like, I think like just trusting, like, I don't want to, and this is just where I'm at, like in my personal like work, I don't want to feel like I need your validation. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't want you to feel like you need mine. So I think like that lack of like that validation loop that like people can get into, like that's just time sucking. And it also is just energy sucking that I'm just kind of like, let's just let's just be bros or hoes or whatever. Like, we could just
no, it's exactly
get the
that,
take
though.
and move on.
Yeah, like because I do feel like sometimes as a director, I'm sort of like obligated in a way to like, you know, commend you if something was really good, and that's not to say I don't want to, but sometimes it's also just it's a matter of fact moment where it's like, you know, there's 6 other shots in my head that I know we need to get in the next hour or whatever. It's like, so
well, and you have like other people on set, like the crew is working hard. Like we work on normally like a smaller like crew, and so like everyone's time is so valuable, and that's why, like, I mean, in film too, it's like everyone is there because they like, that's their job. They're good at their job. They're on set. Like they're there to work, but like other people are there. It's like film is so collaborative. Like it's so many different like pieces of the puzzle. The actor is just one of them, you know? And so like that to me, like a grip is just as important as my job, you know? Like they make me look good. Or not, and that's
depending on the scope of the film, it could be good either way.
Yeah. So I think like I always like the idea of like a good director is a person that like hires the right people. You know, it's like you're like a leader, and we just all are trusting each other.
Like 90% of directing is casting, or you know, you hear those quotes like that.
Going back to rehearsal, and I know some directors like to go in knowing exactly what every frame's going to look like, what every take's going to look like and sound like, and I just can't do that. Like Hitchcock's one of my favorite directors, and he said his least favorite part about the filmmaking process is making the movie, because he's done so much prep work and storyboarded everything out that making it was redundant to him. And I don't like that. I like to get there and it kind of be the clay that you're molding into something. I think that's really fun.
And y'all are also like wearing multiple hats of like, you guys wrote it. So like, that's a different, like when your words are coming alive and like, it's also your vision as the director. I can imagine that's like really a wild experience.
It's weird to me. I say it every time. It never gets not weird. Is something that you wrote down that was in your head, seeing it played out gets me every time. Like, wow, this is either exactly what I thought or not at all, but even better.
Yeah.
Very rarely has it been like, oh, this is
what have I done?
My brain sucks.
And if it is, it's on me. Like it's not on anybody else. Like, cause everybody's kind of following that vision.
Some of the most thrilling moments for me are almost opposite of what you would think they'd be. It's like the first line on the script, the first take of the day, like you said. And then like when I'm in the edit, like having that first clip on the timeline, because there's just like this, it's like you said, there's like this tangible quality that like this idea becomes a thing, you know, as opposed to, I mean, obviously it's great to watch it in a theater with an audience. Like there's nothing beats that for me, but like there is something just neat about the idea of those introductory steps to like a movie becoming a movie. That's always like been fascinating to me. And yeah, I don't know. I think the set stuff is really interesting too, because I feel like, again, once you build that trust, Erin, like what you were saying, like it sort of forces you into, not forces you, that's a weird way to say it. Like, but once you build that trust, there's like an openness that comes to it where you're more excited about the possibilities that someone might bring, as opposed to getting so zeroed in on one way that this thing might happen. And I think that's one thing I love about, like, again, working with you and Brett, especially like just, I know no matter what, I can point the camera at you, call action, and I'm going to get something that I enjoy. And even if it's not like directly what I had in my head, it's like, again, like sometimes it's often better. And I'm just like, oh, well, I didn't even have the bandwidth to think of that. So I'm glad that I was open to the idea of at least, you know, letting you guys interpret something. And I think that was the biggest lesson I learned from where I used to be, you know, making movies as a kid, you know, and obviously where I'm at now as an adult. And yeah, I don't know. I really enjoy that part of the process now. And I think that's probably one of my favorite things, is just sort of seeing what happens. And there's always things like there's, you know, we're always like fighting the clock, especially on these, you know, smaller shoots and things. But again, I know no matter what, it's like, well, we've got 30 minutes to get this. I know you guys are going to knock it out of the park and we're going to get something great.
I like working with you guys so much that I forget to call cut all the time, because when I'm watching the monitor, like I'm watching a movie, like I feel very entertained about what I'm watching, and I forget that I'm supposed to be directing it. And I'm just like,
by the way, cut. I normally just start laughing. That's how
that's how you know to cut.
I was going to say, because I'm editing Madam right now. And there's a few times, Erin, where you're in full costume, makeup, you've got blood all over you. And there's a couple times where there was just a few moments where I didn't call cut, and I could just see you starting to I actually used it in the film. There's a part where you start to smile. I'll show it to you after we record this, but there's a part where you start to smile.
I definitely have a Joker smile. So
and it works great. And I was just like, I don't remember asking her to smile. And then sure enough, a frame after it, you giggle and lose it. I'm like, oh shoot, that actually works.
The rough cut of Madam is really good. And
so
you can tell you're having fun.
Oh, yeah, I had so much fun.
It's a fun one.
Like we have to have more villain roles for you.
I just love that costume. I was so dramatic. I was living my best life.
It's good. It plays really well. Outside of acting, is there another role in filmmaking that you're interested in taking, whether it's writing, producing, directing?
Yeah, kind of all three of those.
Okay, Jason, next question.
Yeah, I'm working on a few scripts. It's like I'm nervous to even say it because it makes it okay,
makes it real.
It makes it real.
You put it into the ether, and then
I know I'm putting it into the online ether, which I'm not done yet. So now I'm like, oh, I would like to direct something one day. I think that would be fun. And producing seems I like to connect people. I think I could have some kind of role as a producer. I'm very into connection. I think oh, you can go here, you can go here. You're really good at this. You're really good at this. I think that could be fun. But I know all three very different jobs. So obviously not all at once. I think starting with my writing and then letting that just take its time. But that's one nice thing. I think there's that multi-hyphenate, whole thing. But I just see it as how do I, tell stories and from different sides of the storytelling lens.
You don't have to answer this if you want to, but what genres are you writing?
Comedy and a coming of age.
Josh and I were both just is it horror?
Neither.
Spooky.
Neither is horror. Actually, I thought I was could I make this horror to get that automatic audience? But I was no, that's just going to taint the story.
Coming of age stories and comedies are also very popular. So
and it's a coming of age of a different age than you would think. So I think we can come to a different age at all ages.
That's a cool point, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's a great point.
Follow-up question. Is there a part for yourself in your film?
There could be in the film and the other project as well. And then I asked myself, could there be someone that could do that better? And I think if I think I really have to take my actor hat off and really think about writing, really putting the writing hat on and just leading with the writer's brain and letting the character just be. And I don't want to manipulate the character to be something I can do. That's important for me for these two stories.
Give me an idea. If there's anyone listening that might be, let me start over.
Are you drunk?
Anyone listening? No, a little, no. If there's anyone listening that is maybe thinking of getting into acting, if there's things that you've learned along the way that you feel or another way to look at it, what would you tell your younger self to maybe help you prepare? Would you tell them anything? Would you just let them experience it?
I'm just going to randomly make this quote up. It might not even make sense, but it's also kind of built off of another quote I can't remember. So I'm just going to say what I'm about to say. Mm-hmm. The only way to is through.
Yes. The very famous Sheryl Crow quote. I remember.
The only way to is through.
That's kind of like a banger she would have wrote. Yeah.
Yeah. It sounds like Sheryl Crow. Yeah. So a world famous singer once said, the only way to is through. And that was Sheryl Crow. And it's also me. But I think, okay, for real, you have to figure it out yourself. No one can do it for you because everyone's journey is their own. But then now we have all these great things like podcasts. There's so many really great resources for people that were not available years ago. There's so many great actor podcasts, but also the industry has shifted so much. So there's so many different factors. My biggest piece of advice is a part of the artistry, find another job that you like. Find something else that you like that you can make money doing that can support you as an artist, that can also be creative. Because like if these two things can live, synergistic with each other and like can grow each other, then you're going to have a way more fulfilling job as an actor. Because the idea to be a starving artist, it's so dramatic. And it was just told for so long by people in power to keep people down that have a dream. And it's also to keep people working for free and shit. It's like, no, have a job, like get a job you like, or at least like find a job that's fun, that can pay your bills. So then you can go do your acting and that's flexible. No one's making all of their money off of this unless you're like The Rock or someone like that. So find another job you like. And like, we are actors, we can do anything. So like, go be a nurse or, like go be a doctor or an accountant or whatever. Like if you're interested in science, like explore that. You can also be an actor. Like you don't have to just be an actor. It actually makes you more boring. It makes you have less life experience. Like go experience life, meet people, like go travel, like, don't be like caught up in the, I have to hustle, because that's just not reality anymore.
That's such great advice.
Yeah.
It made me think of one more question. What's the weirdest job you've had?
Oh, the weirdest job I've had. Oh, this is a weird one.
The weirdest pay the bills job.
Because one of Werner Herzog's advice in filmmaking is go work at a pig slaughter factory or insane asylum.
Random.
Like do something that gives you life experience.
Totally. I wouldn't say it's my weirdest job, but it is an interesting job I had.
Sure.
I worked at a Christmas pop-up bar.
Were you bartending? Were you waiting tables?
I was like a little elf that brought people sugary drinks.
It got weirder.
And I once got $1,000 tip.
Shit.
What?
Mm-hmm.
What warranted said $1,000 tip? Were you extra elfy?
I had the Christmas spirit.
Yeah, I believe it. You had $1,000 worth of that Christmas spirit.
Jason, what about you? What's your weirdest job?
I worked at a sewage plant for a summer.
Oh, hell yeah.
Ironically, I was in the best shape of my life. That was back in the Jason has abs days.
Yeah.
And I loved it. I actually really loved it. I work because my day job and my passion now is literally behind this desk.
Yeah.
And I love going outside when I can get outside. And that's all I did at that job was I worked outside with my hands all day.
That's nice.
Did painting, was a groundskeeper. Less gross than you might think, but still pretty gross, but not too crappy.
Nice. Not too crappy.
From downtown. What about you, Josh?
Probably working at a mental health behavioral institution for kids. That was a tough job, but pretty rewarding at points.
Yeah.
Life experience, man.
Life experiences.
Like I really do treasure that advice, like what you're saying, like because I think like agree with it wholeheartedly, and I feel like just you have to. If anything, it's like those moments of like getting out of your comfort zone in some places to experience something you maybe would not have experienced, day to day or whatever. And not even just talking about like going to visit, travel, and like obviously that's a big part of it, but just random things like stuff you might do you might go to the supermarket and like engage in a conversation with a stranger at the checkout, and it could be friendly, but it's just also like you might learn something about them that then lends itself to another story. Or you can get in a fight with them, and then that might be a great story too. Heebie-Jeebies does not condone fighting with people at the supermarket. Well, Erin, thank you so much. It's been lovely to have you on the podcast and in every single movie we make. We hope to keep having you in all the movies you make. Tell people where they can follow you if they want to check you out on social media, keep up to date with everything going on in your life. You
can follow me at my name, Erin Ownbey, EY, or it's ERINOWNBEY, not an extra EY. And that's it. Like, it's just Erin Ownbey. And you can follow me where you can like and subscribe things if you want. We'll catch you next time on whatever the next episode of this podcast is. Okay, bye. Bye.